Hello everyone. Let's talk about beer label designs. What makes a good label design? What information must the label carry by law? What tools can be used to communicate the essence of your product? And what to expect during the beer label design judging process. I will be sharing an overview of the judging template and score sheet so you will know how it's structured and what the judges will be looking for. The score sheet is divided into 4 main sections, of which the visual communication counts the most. We will discuss more detail a bit later. It has been said that design is an opinion. It's also been defined as a skill, and others say it's a science. Well, it remains subjective, and the only opinion that matters is the audience that's going to buy your product. Fact is, design adds value to every unit sold. Your product brand consists of more than just a logo or a label. It extends to anything that can be branded. For example, your jackets, your crew shirts, your vehicles, business cards, and your social media platforms. But what is the difference between brand and branding? A brand is an emotion, and branding is a marketing tool. They are often referred to as the same, when in fact that couldn't be further from the truth. Branding is only one element of building a successful brand. Therefore, having a good label or product design is only one of the branding components. Your brand represents your identity, who you are, what you do, how you are perceived. It's essentially the customer service and the consumer experience that you provide, together with your quality products. It becomes your reputation and even carries through the way you talk to your customers on the telephone. A brand is the emotions that people associate with your product and your business. It's almost entirely the result of how a customer feels when they do business with you or interact with your products. It's what they take away after walking out of your shop or receiving an email or completing a sale. Not only isolated to using or consuming your product, it's the words and emotions they use to describe your business to friends and family and colleagues. A brand is something that is built from the inside out. A designer can develop a brand, a design, and an identity, giving you, the brand owners, the tools to create the brand and make it come alive. It's what you do with that brand that gives it a voice and a personality. In this case, what is the role of the bottle? Now, the essence of a package would be, at its core, the ability to create the illusion that the product it contains has never been touched by another human hand before. But the definition cannot end there. You would also want to know what it is that you are consuming. And as much fun as beer is, it is a mind-altering substance and has a lot of legal requirements surrounding its sale. So please keep in mind that these legal aspects account for 16% of the total score of the label design. And it's the section that the judges convener will be evaluating. The label must show the name of the foodstuffs on the main label in letters 4 millimeters high. In this case, what we see on screen is the words light lager. That is the name of the foodstuffs. Consequently, it should state beer or ale or cider or stout. And the brand name and the logo would be representing who, and your name of the foodstuff would be the what. So the list of ingredients, including the additives, ingredients listed from most to least, as you'll see on this label on screen. Water is the most, then malted barley, then hops. The name and the address of the producer or the seller. You must be physically able to visit the factory. the country of origin, in this case it will be South Africa, and then a barcode. Because the bottle is round, the barcode will need to be printed vertically. If you place it on the design horizontally, because of the curve of the rounded bottle, the barcode scanner might find it difficult to read the barcode. So your barcode must be in a vertical position. You also need to add the best before or the use by or sell by date, as well as the storage instructions. If you just say store in a cool, dry place, that would be more than sufficient. Also, the health warning must be black text on a white background, separated from other graphics. The alcohol content per volume can be mentioned on the back again, but must be on the front close to or next to the volume. But having it appear on the label only once is enough. Also, the volume of the bottle is important. So this is an article by the Institute of Alcohol Studies called International Evidence and Best Practice on Alcohol Labeling. They have a list of the mandatory legally required health information of labels on alcohol containers in different countries. Now, South Africa's requirements are white background with black text. I'm going to repeat, a white background with black text. It shouldn't add to the design of your label. It's actually meant to stand out like a, like a sore thumb. The design elements and the look and feel of your product communicates the personality of the brand, and it's also carried through to the back of your label design. So in a world of numerous products shouting for our attention, the label and graphics are that silent ambassador of your product, and the label's branding is going to account for most of your first impressions. Knowing your brand personality is very important, and it needs to be translated visually. In other words, you need to take that warm, fuzzy, friendly oatmeal stout and figure out how to visually communicate it. And to do that, you will use color and typography and graphic style and texture and imagery. So the element of design that is best at communicating personality with just a quick glance is color. Science has shown that each color sparks a unique emotional connotation, acting as a useful shortcut for marketers and designers to communicate a brand complexity with just a quick glance. Label shapes are a consideration specific to the beer makers. Do you want a traditional shape and size, or something custom, die cut, which will make your bottle stand out? This may increase the printing cost of your label. Do you want a separate label for the neck, front and back, or do you want one label that wraps around the body of the bottle? Like colors, the fonts you choose communicate a lot about your brand. Serif fonts, those ones with the little feet, or script fonts, give your label a more classic feel, and serif fonts make it more modern. So with the rise of craft beer, labels have become an art form. We see everything from cartoon-like illustrations to hand-drawn masterpieces to photographs to extreme minimalism. Style should be dictated by your target audience. So if you're targeting a younger customer with your wild or even experimental flavors, you might want a label that's outlandish or a bit trippy. But if you're targeting a classier crowd, you'll do better with a minimalist label. Your craft beer label visuals aren't the only way to communicate with prospective buyers. Don't forget about words. As mentioned previously, you want to reach out to your target customers, meaning a porter brand will want to reach out to porter drinkers. The most obvious way to do this is to first have the word porter on the bottle and then highlight the word through visuals. The best way to take a systematic approach at this step is to list out the best keywords to describe your beer and then prioritize them so your designer knows which ones to emphasize over others. Common beer keywords you can borrow would help to inspire new ideas would be words like adventurous, aged, American, barrel, Belgian, bitter, black, blonde, Canadian, creamy, crisp, dark, dry, elegant, English, fruity, handcrafted, hearty, hoppy, homemade, Irish, layered, malty, mellow, organic, robust, rich, sharp, smoky, smooth, thick, traditional. But as you may have noticed, all of these words describe taste, making them good foundations for further design choices. Especially with new customers, people tend to latch on to single ideas before they form deeper opinions. Beers are rarely sold as singletons. And when it comes to design, it's not just the label you have to think about, but the multi-pack. This includes both 6-packs and 12-pack containers, bottle caps, and perhaps a beer tap handle. Consistency is essential in branding, so outsiders should be able to link your packaging to your bottles and your cans immediately just by a single look. The alternative is worse. If the packaging and the individual labels don't match, it makes your brand disjointed and unprofessional, almost as if you decided to use someone else's box to pack your products into. This competition does have got nothing to do with secondary packaging. We are only going to be looking at the labels of your products. This is just for additional information only. For better or for worse, much of your success in the beer brewing industry depends on more than just how good your beer tastes. You could have created the best beer in the world, but if your marketing is lacking, no one will ever know about it. Like it or not, if you want people to fall in love with your beer's taste, you must first impress them with your label. The judges work according to the scoring sheets provided, where each beer has been pre-assessed on the legal aspects. Each beer style and its taste is described, and a very important section on the entry form is the design objectives. This shows the thinking that went into the design process. The judges do not discuss the labels with each other until the end results have been collected and consolidated. Where in the case where there are equal scores, the labels will be discussed and voted on. The legal aspects are evaluated before the event and pre-printed on each entry score sheet. And this is why it's important that the students' beer and label entries reach us on the date communicated on the official competition website. The score sheet is divided into 4 main sections, of which the visual communication counts the most. Let's look at each of them in more detail. If you want to score a definite 16% in the legal section, make sure these legal aspects are on the labels. We will use a fake manufacturing address, and everyone will use the same address. The reason for that is so that you are not tempted to put down your university address or the town or city that you are from. Remember, this competition is blind, and if your university is identified by any element on your label, you will be disqualified from the label design competition. So please remember that the legal aspects of your label design will be the only section that I, as the convener of the judges, will evaluate. These marks will be pre-printed on your score sheet that the beer label design judges will receive to mark and score your labels. One of the most critical sections of the evaluation focus on visual communication, accounting for a total of 60%. Personality contributing 12% to the overall score. Visual communication evaluates how effectively the label design communicates the essence of the beer product through its visual components. So it's subdivided. Label color, 15%. the judges will consider how well the use of color align with the beer's intended brand identity and category. So color choices should reflect the flavor, the mood, and the story behind the beer. It's the palate. Is it appealing? Is it eye-catching? Is it memorable? Does it evoke the right emotions or associations? Then the label shape is another 15%. Here the judges look at the creativity and the practicality of the label's physical or illustrated shape. Whether traditional or unconventional, the shape must support the concept, suit the packaging format, in this case the bottle, and stand out on the judging table. Judges evaluate how well the shape contributes to the overall impact and brand recognition. Typography and words counts for 15%. Typography is key in communicating the beer's name, tagline, style, and other essential information. Judges assess legibility, creativity, and consistency in font choices. Are the words arranged in a way that supports the hierarchy of information? Is there a good balance between type and graphics? And then graphic style and imagery, another 15%. Here the judges evaluate the cohesiveness and aesthetic quality of the visual elements, including illustrations, photographs, icons, and textures. Does the imagery enhance the story and identity of the beer? Is there originality and appropriate use of visual style? Minimalist, illustrative, vintage, modern, etc. And then finally, personality. Beer branding often reflects a strong personality, an emotional or cultural connection to its audience. And this section assesses how well the label captures one of the 4 distinct personalities. Judges will look for consistency between the design and the selected personality type. The 4 categories of personality are youthful, exciting, carefree, spirited. This will be bright colors, playful graphics, bold typography, and upbeat language often support this personality. It appeals to adventurous or social drinkers looking for fun experiences. The second category could be rugged or tough or outdoorsy. Now here we look at earth tones, raw textures, rustic fonts, and strong visual symbols, mountains or nature. This aligns with that character. Now this personality is often suited to stouts, ales, or craft lagers with robust flavors. Then the third personality would be quirky, challenging the status quo. It would be offbeat compositions, unexpected color combinations, humorous or satirical text, and out-of-the-box concepts reflect this category. It appeals to nonconformists and lovers of unique, experimental brews. And then the fourth personality would be sophisticated, elegant, and luxurious. It would be recognized by sleek lines, minimalistic designs, high contrast palettes, for example black, gold, and white, and refined typography that would represent this personality, often chosen for premium or small batch brews. So judges assess how convincingly the label conveys its intended personality through visuals, language, and tone, and whether this identity resonates with the target audience. Taste and label harmony accounts for 12%. While the primary focus of the beer label design competition is on visual communication and brand personality, the final section of the judging criteria encourages students to connect their design with the sensory experience of the beer itself. This category evaluates whether the look and the feel of the label matches what the beer tastes like. The judges will consider if there is a visual and conceptual alignment between the flavor profile of the beer and the design elements used on the label. You should consider flavor notes versus visuals. So does your beer have fruity, spicy, malty, smoky, or bitter notes? Think about how those taste elements can be expressed visually. For example, a citrus-forward pale ale might pair well with bright, zesty colors like orange and yellow with fresh, clean design lines. A rich, dark stout might call for deep tones, brown, black, burgundy, vintage or bold typography, and a grounded design feel. So does the design mood match the taste? Is your beer playful and light or bold and intense? The label should evoke a similar emotion or tone through its imagery, colors, and type. A mismatch, for example, a delicate floral design for a sharp IPA, might confuse the consumer. So consider how the label sets the drinker's expectations before they even open the bottle. A well-aligned label gives cues and clues about what's inside, making the overall brand experience more cohesive and memorable. So a tip for success: as a team, taste your beer together and list a few words that describe the flavor. Then brainstorm how those words can inspire your label design choices. This thoughtful process will strengthen your entry and help you create a label that not only looks great but feels right for the beer you have crafted. To officially enter the InterVarsity Brew Beer Label Design Competition, all student teams must follow the steps outlined. This ensures your label is eligible for judging and display during the event. Download the entry form from the official competition website. Complete the entry form by filling in all the required fields and accurately including team name, beer style, brief description of your label, design concept, and personality. Ensure the form is fully completed. You will see on this last page of your entry form is also a sample template of the judging scoring template for guidance. Then submit your entry by sending the completed form together with your label design in printable PDF format to the official competition email address provided. The PDF must be print ready, 100% to scale, and suitable for application to a 750 milliliter beer bottle. So please test a printed version of your design before you send it and submit it. Submit your entry on or before the official deadline published on the challenge to participate on the website, and late entries will not be considered. Bring a labeled beer bottle to the event. Each team must bring one filled bottle of beer corresponding to the label they submitted. This bottle will be used by the judges to evaluate how well your label design complements the taste of your beer. So ensure that the bottle is clearly and securely marked with the name of your label entry. Important notes for teams: please double check the sizing. Your PDF label must be correctly sized to fit a 750 ml bottle without resizing or adjusting after submission. Be presentation ready. Your submitted label will be judged both digitally and when applied to your physical beer bottle. All these guidelines ensure that your creative work is presented professionally and judged fairly. All the best to all the teams.